DJ Ryzen.
Party rock! Yeah. Woo! Let's go! Party rock is in the house tonight. Everybody just have a good time. Yeah. And we gon' make you lose your mind. We just wanna see you.
Oh, hey. Welcome to another episode of Jkun Presents. How y'all doing today? It is Monday, June 18th, 2012, and I just came back from Anime Mid-Atlantic. Now, this is normally a convention that I would blacklist, because this is just one of the cons that, I just despise. This was actually the first convention I ever went to when I started my whole convention career, for lack of a better term. So, I'll be going over the ins and outs of this convention like I do in every other con report of every convention that I attend. So, let's go ahead and get things rolling with the pros of the convention. Once again, easy access to food. Like I mentioned in the last con report, sometimes food is very hard to come by unless you bring your own. But thankfully, this convention was in a good enough location to where you had I think you had a Wawa across the street, and just across the bridge there was a ton of different eateries and stuff. So that was a definite plus. It wasn't hard to find meals there. Next up on the list is nice accommodations. The hotel was actually really, really nice. Sometimes you'll get put in a convention with a really, really crappy hotel. I believe AMA was at a Holiday Inn a couple years back, and it was just too small. It was not accommodating. You barely had room to walk around, and it was just overall, very, very, very bad. Next up on the list is a very good game room. GPX Gaming ran the game room, and all the stuff that I was complaining about in the last con report that AZ did badly, Anime Mid-Atlantic actually did right. They got a good gaming company to back the game room this year. Everything you expected to see in a convention game room was there, except DDR, but they had Dance Central, so a lot of them were messing with that instead. All the fighting games were there. Even Smash was there. They had Halo, they had Call of Duty. So no stone was left unturned in that department, and that is definitely a big plus, since the game room was pretty much the only reason I really came to the convention this weekend. Let's see. Staff wasn't overbearing or rude. They had a strict policy on having your badge, which any convention should have that rule. You don't want people running in and out of the place causing a fuss that didn't pay to be there. Tightly ran ship as far as rules and policy. Like I said, nobody was really overbearing. Just followed the rules that they set down, and everything was gravy. So in that aspect of the convention as a whole, the convention actually wasn't that bad, but that's only one piece of a much larger puzzle. And like with any convention that I attend, there's always some good things and there are always some bad things. So with the cons, and no pun intended, the cons of this convention, way too much downtime. I found myself, every day I was there, wandering around and just sitting, twiddling my thumbs for multiple hours, just waiting for something to go down. Most of the time it was me just waiting for a tournament to start up. And when I'm having to wait 3-4 hours just for one thing to happen because there's really nothing else going on, that's really, really, really bad for business. And terrible nighttime raves, but I'll touch back on that in a second. Most of the time convention raves are not fantastic, but this one was just absolutely abysmal. The last thing would be just way too many young people. Now, I know I'm getting up there in age. I'm 28. In August, I'll be 29. We called this a starter convention for a reason. You would do this convention if you never went to one before, and then you would kind of move on to a better one. A lot of underage people, a lot of people that didn't know how to act right. I found myself getting annoyed with a lot of the people there very, very quickly, just because they're young. Most of them don't know any better. They don't know proper, I guess, convention etiquette. So in that case, like, I can't be too hard on them about it, but at the same time, like, you should be old enough to not show your ass everywhere. But the convention is only as good as you make it. And there was no truer example of that statement than this weekend. Yes, it's not my favorite convention. Yes, it's not the most exciting convention out there. In fact, it's one of the most least exciting conventions. But several things did happen during this weekend that actually turned it out to be pretty damn good for me. One of the main reasons, if not one of the sole reasons I went there, was my friend told me that yes, there are going to be tournaments there. I was like, alright, I'm going. I'm less than 3 weeks away for leaving for EVO. I need to get some practice on some live people. So I went down there. I entered Mortal Kombat, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and Street Fighter Cross Tekken. We all thought there was going to be Street Fighter 4, but there actually wasn't. So it was only those 3 tournaments. Marvel vs. Capcom 3, I took 5th place, I believe. Street Fighter Cross Tekken, I took 2nd place. I lost to, I guess, a newly acquired friend of mine, Nick Nowitzki. He's one of the Sova fighters in the community. Very good fighter, very fundamental fighter. He knows basics, and he works basics very, very well. Took 2nd place in Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Mortal Kombat, I won 1st place, won the whole thing. I don't really count it all too much, but at the same time, yeah, I'm a little happy that I won it. The karaoke tournament, I do that every single year. This is actually the first year that I didn't win entering this competition. Usually, if I enter Anime Mid-Atlantic's competition, I win flat out. There's no competition. But this year, I took 2nd place. And honestly, who I lost to, not upset about it at all. The guy was a fantastic singer. He played to the crowd just like I did. No shame in that defeat at all. And if anything, it was actually kind of cool because he came up to me later. He was like, dude, I've seen you sing for years. You're one of the reasons I started doing this stuff. Like, I really enjoyed watching you sing, and I wanted to be able to go up against you someday. And I was like, alright, right on. That's actually kind of cool. So, me being the little snarky smartass that I am, I was like, so how does it feel to beat the champ? He was like, that's actually pretty awesome. I was like, alright, cool, right on. So we talked for a little bit later, and that overall, I mean, it was really cool to meet him. He's definitely a fantastic performer, so if you're watching, shout outs to you. You had an excellent singing voice. I definitely look forward to watching you perform again in the future. But, moving right along, go ahead and go to, yes. Touching back on the rave. Friday night, I went into the rave. And it was exactly what I expected it to be. It was horrible. It was abysmal. It was dumb. But one little thing happened that kind of turned it all around. Now, granted, it's not uncommon for me to find, like, Tyrone in there. Tyrone is in there whether it's bad or not, because Tyrone is a walking party. And they started playing Vanilla by Gact. For those of you that don't know, I'm very well known for singing Gact songs at these conventions. I've actually been called the White Gact more than once. He started playing that, and I kind of just turned around and started looking at the DJ, and he locked eyes with me, and I just kind of pointed to the microphone and then pointed back to me. And he kind of just shook his head, and he's like, no, I can't do that. And I was like, alright, that's fine. So I go over to get some water, and the music just flat out stops. And I kind of turn around, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And you hear people shouting and cussing, like, turn the music back on. He actually gets up on the mic, and he was like, okay, who wants to hear this live? And everybody starts shouting and cheering and stuff like that. And I scurry back up to the stage. I'm like, and just kind of look at him like, huh? And he just points at me and says, get on the stage, and hands me the mic. So I actually got to do 2 performances at this convention. The second one definitely being far more awesome than the other one. because I actually had like a enormous audience for the second performance, and it was actually on stage with the light shows and the whole 9 yards. That was an absolute blast. I even got some backup dancers. Halfway through the song, I pulled them up and they started dancing behind me and all that. My friend Wilberto, DJ Tokyo Geist, I believe he took footage of this, so that should be up on Facebook within the next couple days or so. I don't know if he's put it up yet by the time this video drops. But that was absolutely awesome. And then, honestly, the best thing that has happened to me in a while happened Saturday night during the Street Fighter Cross Tekken tournament. After that tournament was over with, I was talking to a good friend of mine named Manny. He was running the game room. He's pretty much the head man of GPX Gaming. And we hadn't talked in, I want to say, over a year or so. And the last time we talked, I hadn't really been making that serious push into competitive gaming. And we started talking about that, and next thing I know, I am sponsored by GPX Gaming. So I am now officially a sponsored fighter in the competitive fighting ring. And I didn't know what to do with myself. I still don't know what to do with myself. Like, I was just in such shock about it that, like, I did not know what to do. He was like, yeah, we'll take care of everything. We'll iron out all the details when we leave the convention. So all of that should be finalized by the end of the week. And all I gotta say is thank you so much, Manny, for giving me the opportunity to represent your banner and all that. And I know this was handed to me on a silver platter, and I'll be the first one to admit that. But the fact that you're willing to give me a shot like that to represent you, represent your brand, that means a ton to me, and it means even more to me being sponsored by not only somebody who's a businessman, but who is also a friend. So thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. But let's move right along and go to the third part of every Con Report video, which is the shoutouts. This is where I make mention of the people I met and left impressions on me, or friends that I got to hang out with. You know the drill. But anyway, let's get right to it. Tony, Tyrone, Afro, Mickey, some of the dancers from Mind. You guys are awesome. I love seeing y'all every single time I meet you. Tony, you and I started really hanging out more after the last convention. So you and I, like, we've really been building that friendship. Like, we've always been cool with each other, but we hadn't really had that close friendship like we've had the past couple conventions where we're, like, actively hanging out with each other. So that was really cool. Miss you guys already, and I look forward to seeing y'all again. Unfortunately, I won't be at Otakon, so y'all will have to do that one without me, but I will be back. I did get a message on YouTube about asking if I'd go to NecoCon. All I can really say about that right now is I'll think about it. But, let's see here. Demi, you know I love seeing you. You and I hung out at your table because you work staff and you work the table at conventions. So, I mean, it was nothing out of the ordinary that we already do, but it was always good to see you. Let's see here. Catherine, Mary, both of y'all, I stayed with y'all over the weekend. Y'all were nice enough to let me stay in the room for free so I could get out and have a good time. I really appreciate that. Mary, I dig your sense of humor, even though you're a brony. I mean, if that's your thing, cool, but I will never get into My Little Pony. I'm sorry. Catherine, you and I, we didn't hang out that much until Saturday, but you know I care about you a great deal, and the time we did spend together, I had a lot of fun, even though you can be a bit of a jerk sometimes, but then again, so can I, so it's okay. But I really had fun with y'all, and I look forward to hanging out with y'all again. Kyle, you were kind of in the same boat as I was, Kyle. where it was only me. It was only you. Like, we didn't really come with anybody. It was just us. But I mean, dude, you're my like con brother. Like, I love you to death, dude. So didn't really hang out with you all that much, but we both kind of had our own thing going. But it's always a pleasure to see you, and I look forward to seeing you again. Wilberto, you are my boy. I love you to death, and especially after Friday night, you getting that footage of that, that's even more awesome. And you know I love hanging out with you and everything, so thank you very much, and I'll look forward to seeing you again. Charles, originally you weren't going to be here, but you wound up showing up. It was only for a couple hours, and definitely, dude, big ups to you for driving that long, for staying that little. But you know I love seeing you. We always have stuff to talk about and everything. I'm definitely closer to you. Like, I confide more in you than I do a lot of other people. So I'm really glad I got to see you, and I look forward to seeing you again. And yeah, I'm probably going to ask you sooner or later to bring me along to one of your gathering events so I can kind of see this stuff firsthand. Nick, you and I, well, I've been aware of you since I joined solo fighting game community, since you joined RBA Fight Club. Not entirely sure if you were aware of me, but I'm sure you were. You and I chit-chatted and joked around a lot in the game room during the tournaments, because you were in Mortal Kombat, you beat me in Cross Tekken, you beat me in a convincing fashion. So definitely big shout-outs to you for winning 3rd place in Mortal Kombat using only one combo, which I was laughing my ass off the entire time you did that. And then you whooped me good in Cross Tekken, but if we had had more fights, like, even you made mention of it, like, okay, first one, you beat me badly. Second one, you beat me not as badly. Third one, okay, he's starting to pick up, and he's coming back. So, if we had had more fights, like, I think those would have been some really good fights between us. But definitely not taking it away from you. You won 1st place. You earned it. Big shout-outs. Congratulations, man. Let's see, who else is next on the list? John. John won 1st place in Marvel. You and I have had a very rocky past, but I'm glad that you and I were able to get past all that in time. And I actually enjoy hanging out with you and joking around with you and everything now. So, glad I saw you. Thanks for watching my back on Saturday night when I thought I saw who I did, and it turned out to not be them. So thank you for being point man on that. And finally, Manny. I cannot thank you enough for what you did for me. You and I met a couple years ago at T-Mode. You and I already talked about that, so there's no need to hash that here on the video. Plus, it's honestly, that was personal stuff between you and me. There's no need to air that. The viewers don't need to know. But you are a really awesome guy. You by far have ran the best game room I've seen to date. And you have my utmost respect for giving a scrub like me a chance to make that push into competitive fighting. So I can't thank you enough, and I look forward to doing business with you. But now it's time for my final thought. Like I said earlier in the video, Anime Mid-Atlantic is what most of us con-goers call a starter con. This is the con you go to if you've never been to a convention before, and then you move on to better ones. Some of us still go, like Tyrone. He's going because he's kind of trying to keep his streak alive. Like, he's gone to him for like the past 13 years. He's gonna keep going because he wants to keep the streak alive. Others go because they are trying to pursue careers in photography, like my friends Adam and Will, where they're going strictly for photography purposes. I went strictly for tournament purposes. So there's always a reason to justify why we win. But overall, what can I say about the convention that the people that went to the convention can't say themselves? So, guys, what did you think of Anime Mid-Atlantic?
sucks.
Well, I really couldn't say any different. But that's pretty much all the time I have for right now. I mean, I feel like I'm forgetting something. Like, I really feel like I'm forgetting something, but, I mean, whatever. It must not be that important. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and, let's see what's next on the agenda. I'm definitely going to be doing some more streaming. I may try and pull out one more Road to Evo episode out of my ass before I leave for Vegas, but it's 3 weeks away. I may just be focusing on practicing and getting ready. So, the verdict is still out on that one. But while I'm at Vegas, expect some activity from me while I'm there. I'm going to be there for a week, so I'm going to actually try and do some live vlogging while I'm there. But that should wrap up everything. Wait. Now I remember. So, anyone that knows me knows that I am not a fan of Pedo Bear. Well, I finally got the retribution I had been seeking for a very long time. Take a look. That was nice, wasn't it? I told you you wouldn't escape me. That's all I got for right now, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.